Yes, Cinder, a remix of Dark Souls 3 by Rotaka. Folks, you know what that song means. Almost wasn't the right song.
I mean,
but we're not going to talk about that because I'm going to fix that in post.
me. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
my
Well,
God.
fine. I'm just going to continue into the thing.
Yeah, please
It
do.
is time for this month's round 95, keeping it weird. Insert credits. We've been doing this show for a long ass time
A
now.
very long ass time. Emphasis on the long as opposed to the ass, but you know, we do our best here.
Hyphenation.
Right, very important. Welcome, everybody. I'm MrBond.
And I'm Tormod.
Oh, to the very middle of October 2021. Wild. Just kind of wild, honestly. I was hoping it wasn't this late in the month because it's getting cold out there again, and I want warm weather. But I guess it's on me for
Yeah,
living where I do, so whatever.
I was going to say it's a pretty pleasant 73 degrees in
Shut up.
Nashville right now.
This
Sorry.
is stupid. Come on, man.
Uh-huh.
Ah, well. Well, welcome, everybody. Insert credits. This is a show where we talk about the video games. We start off with a section on news, what's going on around the world, what's going on locally, new releases, legal meanderings, etc., etc. And then we move into some music because we like to listen to music and give our voices a rest. Then we talk about what we've been playing since last show last month, and we do some more tunes because music is cool and fun, and everybody should listen to it more. And then we end with some ad hoc design, which is always real fun and cool and a good way to end the night. And we've been doing okay, I think, in making the best of bad and or worse situations, depending on what we get fed from our random idea generator things. So, you know, some of them have been
It's a
rather
good
special.
website.
Yeah. But, you know, the replacement we found after that other one kind of just disappeared off the map has been doing pretty solid work, too. So can't really complain about any of that stuff. So, without further blabbering on that, some housekeeping. Our next show be in November, mid-November at some point, right? Did we manage to get it pretty close to the middle, or did we skew this one a bit because of some
I don't remember. I also didn't have a calendar open because I'm a winner.
Yeah, I just opened it now. Looks like the 12th is what we
12th.
settled on.
Right.
Seems good enough for round 96.
And if I don't have my PC set up by then, there's something really wrong.
Yeah, I suppose. But hey, no rush. And then December for round 97, looks like we've got, and I forgot to send the invite out for it, so you won't have it yet. But it looks like we settled on the 10th.
Cool. That sounds like a day.
Yeah, it does surely sound like a day. And then when we get into New Year, 2022, that'll be around 98. What are we looking at there? 14th, maybe? That's pretty close to the center.
Yeah, the 14th. That
okay. I did say 98, right? And then, after that point, we're only 2 away from the big triple digits, which is frightening and exciting all at once. Hoy. But we don't need to worry about that for now. We're already 3 shows out. That's good enough, I think.
Good enough for now, yep.
So, literal housekeeping on your end, you are swapping locales between now and next show.
Yeah. All sorts of fun stories that I would probably be able to ramble for an hour long just gonna lie. But I'm not gonna. As you can tell behind me, there's a lot of nothing outside of just empty shelves and stuff. And the rare opportunity for you to see that server rack that you would never normally see.
Yeah, so it is.
Yeah, it's a move to about 3 feet out, so normally that's not on camera. But
no problem. Well, anyways, the long and short of it is you're moving to somewhere else, so you will see a different backdrop on your side again when we boot back up for 96 on November 12th. So that's going to be fun and cool and exciting. Something new. Always like new stuff. Well, not always, but you know, most new things are fine. So I think
this is going to be an upgrade.
Yeah,
so
that's good. It's good. Sounds like
I'm
a
also,
positive move.
But I'm moving from fiber down to cable internet, so.
Ooh, all right. Well, you take
it was
the good,
my only
you take
option.
the bad.
But we'll see how it goes.
Take them both, and there you have something. I don't know the rest of this one. Okay, I think that takes care of housekeeping, literal and otherwise. Around the world, let's talk about some news about what's been happening. I see we have a confluence of a couple of our own points here, so I'm going to skip my first one and let you take care of that when we get to yours. Deltarune Chapter
Well,
2.
I mean, yours is a lot more actually detailed.
It is?
I more
Yeah.
wanted to laugh at them because their legal counsel just kind of abandoned them.
Oh, lol. Okay, I guess we can start with that then. Get the bad shit out of the way first, and then we can move on to some more
Sure.
exciting stuff. So, Activision Blizzard is not catching a break because it's their own damn fault, because they're stupid. On the tail of these massive lawsuits for harassment and discrimination, whatever, filed by the state of California, now is facing a probe from the SEC. And you done fucked up when you get the federal agencies after you, so, we'll see what's gonna come out of that.
Womp womp.
Yeah, womp womp indeed. The smallest of sad trombones for Activision Blizzard. And it turns out that we'll be kind of up a creek even more so this time because...
Well, their former chief legal officer actually left the company in mid-September, so deuces. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of great.
Oops!
He knew when to leave.
Wow, okay, so,
You mentioned the Titanic and sinking ships and all that stuff,
yeah,
so there you go.
sinking ships and rearranging deck chairs and, all that, so...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's going to provide some more news, I'm sure, for the next few shows. But for now, all we do is sit back and watch and see what shakes out. Sony has cut off the online services for their classic Little Big Planet series, 1, 2, and 3, as well as the version that was out on Vita, with next to no warning or notice. So all that community content that was keeping that game alive, oops, it's gone. No way to get it back. No way to even spin up, a hacky private server to keep it going, because none of those specs are out there, and I haven't heard of any reverse engineering efforts to make that happen either, so... Well, there goes that stuff. That's unfortunate, because I recall hearing that community was rather vibrant and active, even multiple years after the fact, so...
Yep.
Well, we don't really know why they did that, and they didn't tell anybody about it, so... Good job, Sony, as always. Really keeping your standards high on that one.
It's what they do.
Yeah, it sure is. Twitch has recently suffered a major breach due to a server misconfiguration, which resulted in the theft of the entire source code for their site and services, as well as the majority of the payouts made to creators. Not the payouts themselves, but info on the payouts to creators. So everybody's been having a field day with that one. Now, Twitch itself has kind of come back and said that no passwords have been compromised, no personal information has really been compromised outside the payout stuff. But they've already gone ahead and reset all the stream keys forcibly, including once more after I had already rotated the 4 stream keys that I'm in charge of. So that was a fun little bit to have to do twice.
Getting me all trained up.
Yeah, that's great. I love having to do that thing that I'm never supposed to need to do because people are incompetent. But hey, whatever. So they're kind of scrambling around, trying to do damage control, trying to figure out if anything else has been breached, shared, otherwise compromised. But I guess we'll see, since their response to that has just been either late yesterday or early today. So I'm sure there's more info to be had on that later. More positive stuff, however. Deltarune Chapter 2 was released shortly after last show, in fact, and people being the rabid consumers of that game and or series that they are, many completed it within the first 24 hours. So, if you were looking forward to playing that without spoilers, please avoid the internet at large until you are able to play it for yourself. Luckily, I was able to play it pretty shortly thereafter, so I wasn't spoiled about that as much, but I'll talk about that when we get to our gaming segment later on. Pretty good. Chapter 2 is still free alongside Chapter 1 as the demo. However, Chapters 3 through 5, which have been announced to be being worked on concurrently, will require a little bit of money to get your hands on that, which, is pretty reasonable, honestly. You get, a really solid 2 sections of a demo, and then, hey, throw a little bit of money to get the rest of the game, which I anticipate a lot of people will be doing, so...
This feels like modern shareware, and that's good.
Yeah, it sure is. Like, try before you buy, very good. Like, let's get that stuff back, please. Like, let's get away from pre-orders, and let's get back to, hey, having some content we can look at before you pull the trigger on stuff. More positive news. A 17-year-old coder has figured out how to detach the Oculus Quest 2 from the requirement of a Facebook account.
Uh-huh.
So this does come with a couple downsides. You can't use the Oculus Store or any number of different apps and services that are considered official Oculus stuff. But you can still use it as a normal ass VR headset, which is good. It sans a Facebook account, which is very good. Please more of that. Personally, I still probably wouldn't buy it, but hey, if you did and you want to detach from Facebook, there is a method to do it, which is really nice. That's all the major stuff I got. I know there was a couple more topics I wanted to add in kind of last minute, but honestly, we've got enough to talk about the way it is. So why don't you take it away from here?
Well, at least Facebook took a dirt nap for a day. That was muy bueno.
Oh, that was super good.
So, yeah, and I think that decoupling of the Oculus was bound because of that. Maybe, I don't know, but I hope it was, because that brain candy makes me very happy.
Yeah, it's very convenient timing at the very least. But you can imagine that, Facebook and Instagram and all their core services being down means, oh, suddenly you've got a paperweight. So,
Oops.
oops, indeed.
All right, well, on to things that I actually care about. Nintendo stuff. So, you know, Smash Ultimate's been around for some time now. It's their big foray into paid DLC and whatnot. Masahiro Sakurai finally announced the last DLC fighter, and everyone was, throwing their guesses into the ring.
Of course.
Of course, this one is extremely polarizing. Everybody was really hoping for all sorts of different characters, including Waluigi.
Oh.
But we ended up with Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Wielding a key sword, so another sword character.
Uh-huh. From a character that is actually pretty much exclusively divorced from everything dealing with Nintendo. But okay. I really want to see what kind of rights they had to pull out of their ass to get all the Disney stuff in there, because no doubt that's going to be part of it.
Oh yeah. Not only the character itself, but all the new music, the stages, the Mii Fighter outfits, etc., etc.
Uh-huh. And I'm sure there's going to be like Pooh Assist trophies or something.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. So, I don't know. It's not what I was hoping for. I was honestly hoping for the whole Master Chief gambit, but nope.
Oh, that would have been a strong play too.
Oh yes, because that would have been more than just energy swords. That would have been a whole lot of stuff. So you could have had the nice shield in there. You could have had all sorts of weapons, like the little needler, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. No. They didn't decide to do anything creative. They just made another sword user. So there we go. Done with that. Nintendo, commenting for their investment report recently, said that the OLED Switch is the last model they intend to create. No plans for 4K, no plans for a Pro model or anything like that. So if you want a Switch and you want the best thing, go buy a new one. Speaking of, actually, GameStop has a fairly okay trade-in reward right now. If you have their Pro membership, you can trade in any former model of Switch and get $260. So that's most of the cost of a new OLED Switch.
It is, because it's what, at $350 or $400?
I think it's at $350.
Yeah.
And I'm fairly certain that the price of the base Switch also dropped as well. I don't know if it dropped here, but I'm pretty sure it dropped in Europe. I heard some murmurings about that. But more Switch stuff, and this is great for accessibility. Great for accessibility. A firmware update was released on the 14th of September, right around the time of our last show, and the Switch can now pair Bluetooth audio devices. So anyone who wants to play late at night or has assistive things like Bluetooth hearing aids and the like, because that's a thing, yeah, you can now sync those with the Switch and play however you want. And that's pretty exciting. And of course, there's more Switch stuff that happened, of course. Just announced after I did all my notes, grumble. Apparently there's going to be an expansion pass released. I think on the 21st, was it? Something like that.
Sounds right.
It costs an additional $15 a year, I think. Let's actually look that up real quick here. Switch expansion pack. Oh, it's the expansion pack. Okay, so it drops on the 25th, not the 21st. All my numbers are messed up in my head right now, so just ignore me. Let's see here. it costs $49.99 a year, and if you already have the Switch Online subscription, you can actually upgrade to the new one at a prorated amount so that it still refreshes on your normal yearly cadence there. But let's see here. So it's $49.99 for an individual subscription, or $79.99 for a shared family membership, which we have a good lot of us kind of sharing right now. It brings in the Animal Crossing's New Horizon Happy Home Paradise DLC for free instead of having to buy it separately, and also adds two consoles to Virtual Console or whatever the hell they're calling it. The Sega Master System, or Genesis, has a lot of titles, a lot of good ones in there. That's coming, and of course, new games will be released as time goes on, much like the other consoles that are on there, and also the Nintendo 64. Cue the video.
Right.
Lots of good things on the N64. Both Zelda games. You have Mario Kart, you have Star Fox, and a bunch of other stuff. Now, the interesting part of this, though, is that now I can play Mario Kart 64 online with my friends. That's exciting. So I would probably buy it for that because, let's face it, MK64 is one of the best. Sorry, that's how it works.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Kalahari Desert, though. It was a good time. But
now, wasn't there
nope.
also, with the addition of now Nintendo 64 to their Virtual Console lineup, did they not also put in a PAL mode switch to adjust things from 50 to 60 hertz for certain PAL 64 games?
That's actually really interesting because I didn't hear that. So that's kind of neat.
Am I thinking about something else that overlaps with that? I'm going to look that up really quick because I feel like that was either related. Yeah, here we go. Nintendo won't make Europeans play worse versions of N64 games on the Switch because there is a toggle to bump it up from 50 hertz to 60 hertz to make it play on modern non-PAL displays, which was obviously common over in the PAL region earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the timeline here. So,
here, finally I found something that mentioned it. Okay. Well, hey, look at that. I wonder if it's just like overclocking or is it resampling? I don't know.
I think it's a bit more involved than simply rendering everything 20% faster.
Right.
At least I hope so, because I do recall there being certain kerfuffles among certain game conversions where they did that, but then either the music was messed up or the animations weren't right or blah, 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 blah when you take the lazy route out. So I'm hoping this, as a first party type of thing, they have done a bit more homework on it and made it actually usable.
Yeah. Nintendo doesn't have a good track record for not being super lazy with their boards.
True enough.
But
yeah.
It's fine.
Low bars and all that.
So, yeah. Lots of interesting Nintendo news. I'm very happy about the accessibility stuff. I mean, Bluetooth in general is just super useful now that the protocol isn't total garbage.
True.
Which it's still pretty garbo, but it's not as garbo as it was.
Yeah, there are still some caveats to that when you do hook up a Bluetooth headset. I believe it limits you to one pair of Joy-Con things, and there's also still some significant audio latency to it as well. But that's Bluetooth being Bluetooth. That's not really any of Nintendo's fault. But yeah, they did need to sacrifice some of the controller bandwidth to get that to function, I believe, was the justification for only having one pair. But it kind of makes sense, if you're using it in mobile mode or non-docked mode, I guess. It's like, well, you're not going to really have everybody piled around a thing on a table or whatever with multiple Bluetooth headsets and people going wild.
Despite what their commercials might try to
I have yet to see that being like a practical thing that people actually do outside of, maybe once for the novelty of it, but...
Let me know when people can hang around in an airport all tight-like around a Nintendo Switch again.
Right, or on the roof of a fancy restaurant, open-air restaurant or some bullshit, and, let's play the Switch. Yeah, that's what we're out here to do.
You want to go back to Seattle?
I do, actually, but not for that. Not for that reason.
Okay. Well, we can play MK64 online and be like, hey, look at me on this now Discord call that I'm on. Like, we're here, and the convention center's over there, and we're sky-top buildings with drinks and booze and playing MK64. It's the best part right there.
I mean,
So
could probably already do that with Project 64, but hey, what do I know?
I don't know. I just remember playing N64 emulator stuff on a PowerPC laptop that I had in college on a trip. And I didn't think that was going to work at all. But, whatever. I was playing MK64 with a keyboard and trackpad because that was the thing. But, emulation's pretty great.
At the ripe old
Speaking
frame
of
rate
emulation,
of 5 frames per second?
I was actually playing pretty well. I'm pretty sure I was at 30 FPS,
Oh,
which I
dang.
think was actually native.
Better than original hardware.
I forgot to mention this. So Metroid Dread released. And interestingly, some higher profile websites that I'm not going to name suggested how you might play it for free by pirating it, but also in an emulator. Which made me go, there's a Switch emulator? There is.
I mean, yeah.
And allegedly, it's really good.
Hmm.
It's called Yuzu. Yuzu. It's an experimental open source emulator from the creators of Citra. So that's pretty cool. It's apparently written entirely in C++, and builds are actively maintained for both Windows and Linux.
Intriguing. Which one was Citra then? I thought Citra was the Switch one. Is that the DS one?
No. Citra is 3DS.
3DS.
So while I own a good handful of 3DS games, come at me, Nintendo. Okay. I played Bravely Default and some other 3DS game on stream, and I had to use Citra for it. So, yeah. At some point, I'm probably going to go through Fire Emblem Awakening because it's still my favorite Fire Emblem game, and 3DS capture hardware is real expensive, so maybe not.
Sure is.
So I'm going to attempt to do that at some point. But yeah, Citra is great, so I have total faith and confidence that this particular Yuzu Nintendo Switch emulator is going to be well made and well maintained, especially if they have the Canary snapshots and whatnot, if people really want to try the very latest polls and whatnot. But yeah, we got on the topic of emulations. So I was just kind of like, yeah, Switch emulation's a thing, and I haven't tried it yet. I'd really like to. As soon as I move, I'm going to blow away my entire stream PC and start over and hopefully get into some funky experiments like that. Because let's face it, playing Batwa in CEMU, that's fun and all, but if I can play the Switch release, that would be kind of neat.
In 4K without the actual 4K Switch, since they're not doing that, apparently.
We'll do it ourselves. But, nah. It's pretty exciting. I'm always a big fan of reverse engineering and stuff like that. Emulators are really outstanding. Getting to know the hardware really well. Obviously, I'm not a developer, but, understanding the quirks and whatnot. For those who do, you can start maybe finding bugs or knowing how to find bugs in games for speedrunning and all the like. So, speaking of Metroid Dread speedrunning, yeah, apparently that's happening too. So people have found out how to do bomb jumps and stuff already. So,
yeah.
I don't know anything about the game realistically outside of watching this tech that I saw earlier today. Reminder that I've never played a Castlevania game, nor have I played a Metroid game.
Oh, wow.
So at some point, I'm going to have to do Babby's first Metroid.
Well, I would recommend both of those series. No matter where you start, they're mostly pretty good.
I've seen some excellent memes from Symphony of the Night in the recent few days, but yeah, I'm rambling. That's what happens when I'm overtired and stressed.
That's right. Then that's
totally new house next time.
That's a good sign that maybe it's time for some music so we can have a think.
Yeah. Alrighty then. We will start the night with Hylian Nights by Nigel Simmons from The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, moving into Melting Point by Zach Parrish from Metroid Other M, and finally Coming Home by MK Vaff from Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Kong Quest.
Okay, well, despite the month that we've had and how busy you've been, obviously, preparing for other certain things, looks like we've at least played a few games between us, so that's good.
You like 4 times mine, but yes,
I mean, well, yeah.
as you do.
As I do, and particularly this go around, I've played a number of much shorter games this time instead of having like one or two to span the entire month. So I started off with Revo, played that for about a week. That was really fun. It's kind of a very manic neon shmup. Very much a visual spectacle, but very competently made as well. I had the dev of the game actually in my stream a couple times while I was playing it, so it was fun to exchange jabs there. It's always fun to see the actual devs in there. And he took away some really good feedback from both me and from some of my audience who are also avid shmup players. So they had lots of good recommendations on what to do, and hopefully we might see some of those eventually, like a quick restart and a full on campaign run for the shmup aficionados to do score runs and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
that's exciting to look forward to. Maybe we'll see some of those suggestions implemented. After that, I moved on to Shovel Knight King of Cards. That is the last entry in the Shovel Knight series, unfortunately, but it was a very good send off. That was released in, I want to say 2019 now, but it allows you to play as King Knight. Initially, when Shovel Knight first released, you had Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope, which you played as the titular Shovel Knight. Then they released the first content expansion, Plague of Shadows, where you played as Plague Knight, and then Spectre of Torment, where you played as Spectre Knight, and now this final one, King of Cards, where you play as King Knight. It was, as expected, an extremely competent platformer. They did manage to sneak in a weird card game type thing, which wasn't to my taste necessarily, but it was certainly very well thought out and developed and kind of built into the story and all that sort of thing. Think Triple Triad and whatever Final Fantasy that one
I
was,
was
right?
just gonna make the reference. Yep.
Yeah. So very much in that vein. It was completely optional. You didn't have to play it at all. I gave it a couple goes and was like, yeah, okay, this is neat, but not my thing. So I moved on from it. But the game itself around it was extremely good. Very fun and cool. And well, Yacht Club Games likes to pull little twists on what you think of for their characters. I mean, Shovel Knight is the hero and whatever, the protag. Plague Knight was really just doing things for himself, and Spectre Knight had a deep and mysterious past, and King Knight is really exactly as he appeared. He's kind of a d-bag, so they pulled a few switcheroos on the other characters, but this one was just very straightforward. Like, he's not a great dude. Oh well,
Yep.
that's how it be sometimes. But that was a very fun game that took about 2 weeks. Did some extra playthroughs on that. Then I moved on to Gravity Ace, which is a very heavily Gravatar inspired twin stick, almost lunar lander ish gameplay. Very heavily physics based. Gravity is a big thing, hence the title. But that was kind of a quick one. That's still in early access, so I'm hoping to see a little bit more content produced for that as well, maybe later on down the line. But again, very quick, 1 week or so. And then I played High Hell, which was a one-off, in fact, unexpectedly a one-off, one night, 2.5, 3-ish hours or so. Very quick run and gun. It's titled, produced by Terry Velleman and Doze One. Those two are certainly quite the pair, so the storyline behind it was suitably wacky. Something to do with the devil and the devil's baby and trying to take down a weird corporation, and I don't know. I honestly, I didn't pay attention to the story. I just kind of focused on the run and gun and doing a few things there. Some
So hey,
puzzle
hey.
elements, but hey, whatever.
It was a one and done run and gun.
Yes, it was. Nice job.
I didn't want that one to go.
Oh my god. All right, get out.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Well, that was just earlier this week. In fact, on Monday was the single night I spent with it, and then on Wednesday I started up with Neurovoider, which is an extremely competent twin stick, procedurally generated, very much akin to Nuclear Throne, but with heavy RPG elements and much longer than your typical like 2-minute Nuclear Throne run where you get murdered right away. That one takes a little bit of forethought because you pick up parts, you build your kind of robot thing, and you go to town, and you hope you don't die immediately. And thus far, I've been able to do a clear on the middle difficulty already, which is nice. So next time I pick that up, I'll be advancing to the hardest difficulty, and seeing what other alternate paths there might be for that game. So that's
Cool.
certainly not a one-stop shop there. That'll be fun to pick up again next week. Outside of streams, I did manage to play Deltarune Chapter 2, as I alluded to earlier. Extremely good. Extremely good. I'm afraid to say anything bad about it because we know how people get with their Undertale and Deltarune. No, that's right. It's a very good game, very much in the vein of Deltarune Chapter 1, the same kind of style, just a little bit more polished, and some better audio, some better gameplay, etc., etc. Like Undertale and Deltarune Chapter 1 before it, there is an alternate route you can do that involves a lot of murder. I cannot bring myself to do that. It is not something I'm capable. Even just reading about this particular one makes me go, oh. Yeah, it's somehow worse than the previous ones, and I
Oof.
know it's a really hard high bar to clear with that, I think, but this one is particularly just suffice it to say I won't be doing that. I will read about it, and if I dredge up enough courage, I will watch a playthrough of it, but I will not play it myself that way. No way.
That is fair.
No way in heck am I doing that, pardon my language. On the SBC side of things, Shmup Book Club, this little thing we got running once a week with monthlies and quarterlies and such, the new monthly shmup for us is Omega Fighter Special. This is an older shmup from 1989, before people discovered accessibility was a thing. But it's a very interesting game. This is one that predicates its scoring system on how close you are to the enemies when you destroy them, which... for me, being an aggressive style player makes a lot of sense. I can try to do that stuff with the best of them, right? But it's also very frustrating because you get point blanked a lot, and you have to do a lot of restarts. And if you don't do well at the start, you may as well just torch that run and start over. And it's typical arcade fare, really. It gets very angry at you very quick, but it's still pretty fun. So that's going to stick around for the month of October. Our new quarterly for October through December of this year is Pro Gear no Arashi by Cave. It's a pretty standard Cave shmup. Tiny hitboxes, lots of bullets, and some weird-ass scoring systems that I personally haven't figured out at all. But luckily, with our broad swath of skill sets in the SBC, people have already figured out and are giving nudges to everyone else as to how to score reasonably good. So the competition on that particular board is starting to heat up a bit. And it's a pretty fun game, even outside of that. Very weird. Cave's games are weird story-wise. I don't really understand the story behind this one. Something about a war and drafting what appears to be children to fight in said war, which is weird, even for Cave. But there's the typical anime goofiness and weirdo voice acting and all that stuff, which gives it a little bit of charm. And usually you don't focus on that stuff anyway, so it's about getting the points. Okay, outside of that, Sunday long plays I did a little bit of Noita again. I went back to that. I finally managed to get a normal mode clear after, I think, 150 hours of trying.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. And that unlocked a harder mode, aptly named Nightmare Mode, which starts you with 3 free perks for your character, as well as a handful of randomized spell wands. And it mixes up the biomes. Normally you would go through them fairly linearly to complete the game. It starts you off at what would normally be the second biome, the second level. And enemies are faster. They fire at the double rate of what they would normally. They do double damage on top of that. And it's exactly as it sounds. It's a nightmare. Still extremely fun, though. Like, it can start you off with some bangers of perks and spells and wands and stuff. But sometimes RNG does not smile upon you, and you get no good ones. And, may as well just rip and start over, essentially. Also, this past weekend, last weekend, in fact, we had a mini streaming marathon to help raise some money for our good friend Beauty Joe, who had some emergency surgery and thus some very short-term medical debts that even in the United States with our great healthcare, is extremely bad to deal with. So we did a short little marathon for him to try to raise some money, which everybody's very generous. Raised about 2,000 for him, which is very nice and cool.
Nice.
So thank you everybody for your generosity on that front. So we had a good crew of us throwing in speed runs, score runs, exhibitions, showcases, etc., throughout those 3 days. I myself did a run of Assault Android Cactus Infinity Drive. Unfortunately, I did not clear. I fell down at the Layer of the Curse, Layer 38 out of 50. No real big surprise there, but honestly, not bad for not having played it for about a year. So I'm pretty happy with that. I also did
Or wobbly.
yeah. Oh god, yeah. And Wobbly Python drink
Ah,
a macaroni and cheese packet milkshake. Which
blah.
is so as gross as it sounds. And there was going to be more that he was going to ingest if we got to certain other thresholds, which we did not, which I'm sure he is secretly thankful for. Oh.
Oof.
Yeah, I also did
At least it
a.
wasn't something of Velveeta or something, because
Oh no,
I can't do that.
it was the cheese powder flavoring packet from a mac and cheese instant mac and cheese box with milk and vanilla ice cream blended up into a milkshake. So yeah, it was tough to watch. It was very gross. I don't think I would be courageous enough to do that, but hey, Wobbly Python, everybody. So there we go.
Doritos Locos Taco Latte.
That was one of the. That was the next one that would have been met, and then I believe the
Ooh.
last one he would have juiced an entire onion, and drank
Ah,
that. Yeah, yeah. Oof. Just so gross. But hey, it was for a good cause, and unfortunately, we didn't meet the thresholds for those particular bad ideas. But well, it'd be what it be. Outside of Infinity Drive for Assault Android Cactus, I also did a showcase run of BPM bullets per minute. I did a pretty standard run on the default character on easy mode. That one went off without a hitch. I did a hard mode run with the speedrun character, which surprisingly also went off without a hitch. So 2 clears there, and then I had some time at the end to showcase the hardest character on the hardest difficulty, which is essentially Oko. So 1-hit KO, you get hit once you're dead, regardless of how much health or armor you have. And you start with the weakest weapon, and you have no extra movement abilities. And you have to visit every room in a level to clear it. So that, of course, did not go very well. Because I'm still trying to clear it just on the side a little bit, but oh boy, it is a tough one to do. That was the extent of my participation. Oh, we also did a 4-way archipelago multi-world with myself and Firetron playing Link to the Past, and EI and Kenny playing Super Metroid, which went very well. We got kind of lucky with the seed that was generated for our collective 4 multi-worlds there. Ended in about 2.5 hours, I want to say. Which is
wow.
not bad considering the mix of stuff we had to deal with. Also quite entertaining. I made the mistake of turning on bee traps for my world. And to my understanding, I believe Beauty himself is still making a not the bees supercut of all the times I get ambushed by bee traps. So
I didn't even know bee traps were a thing.
yeah, apparently they are, and it is funny. It is a real good goof just to slap that in there, especially if you get bees in say a cave or a narrow hallway or something. And yeah, it makes it very exciting, very exciting. But yeah, that's what I've been up to this past month. My God, that was like 9 or 10 games. Oof.
That is like
I'm,
at least 4 times.
I'm
Yeah,
already feeling tired.
that fair enough. So haven't played a whole lot of games this month because we're moving. However, I've been sitting and watching and contributing in various ways to Vlad's attempts to go through FTL, which is of course faster than light. Been hunting achievements, which has been fairly successful. GG Vlad. I've been starting to follow the game a little better, so pointing things out like, hey, we can put that fire out by just opening, some airlock stuff going on instead of sending someone in there to die as they try to stamp it out and stuff. But
Yeah, true enough.
I mean, I'm still not all that good at it, but suggesting routes and being like, hey, let's go this way instead. Yeah, it's like I'm sitting in the back seat of a car. It's normal, but that's been real great. FTL is a real chill game. The soundtrack though, like,
Mm-hmm.
that Rockman theme is like probably my favorite of the songs going on there. So rock controlled sectors always a good thing for me. Um, but yeah, that's been cool. Other than that, this last Sunday, yeah, that's right. Played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Went through all 48 tracks. 48, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I still have it at least in some regard. I had to do some experimentation to remember what type of bike I liked because there are two different types and they drift differently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I chose poorly the first time, and people wanted to restart, and I was like, "That's great, thanks." So this was on a fresh game, so it had nothing unlocked. So I was
Oh,
just kind
womp
of
womp.
trying. Yeah, I at least got Ludwig, but beyond that, yeah, I was doing pretty okay. I kind of started not doing pretty okay about halfway, 2/3 of the way in, but still was well above every CPU player that was in there, and we didn't have any babies, so it was great.
There you go. It all worked out.
Yep, and that's it. That's all I played.
That's good. At
Ah,
least you got something in there. Like, I know you're gonna be busy moving and stuff, but hey, just take a little time for yourself in there too,
oh yeah, yeah.
as you
No,
can.
we've been trying, and that's probably going to be happening again tonight with the whole hey, let's boot up FTL and try to run whatever ship that was with the sea layout that looked like a pirate ship. So I don't remember which one that was.
Yeah, that is kind of a tough game. Like even on normal difficulty, I struggled a lot with that one back when I played it.
Yeah, I think Vlad's doing something on easy mode this time just to see what it's like because he's never done it.
Ah,
And yeah, it's kind of entertaining so far. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to picking that back up. But that's been my favorite lately. It's just been chilling on the couch late at night with the lights off, playing FTL, just kind of groove into the soundtrack and constantly apologizing for all the bad things that are going on because you feel like you are directly responsible for them, even though you're not. So yeah, like, oh God, you decided to try to pirate the pirates or steal from the civilians because you were given the option to do that, and suddenly your hull is below 50%. So
Oops.
yeah, we've been experimenting with questionable ethics. So because apparently there really aren't any penalties per se, but sometimes I think there is because the game will fuck you over if you try to do something real bad. So yeah, it's fun. Eventually, I might actually try to play that game myself instead of just kibitzing. But yeah, that's it.
All right, then I think it's time for Toonski's Part 2 here. Let's start off with a remix from Hollow Knight entitled Spirits of the Fallen by Heima Garani, followed by a remix from Mega Man X3 entitled Probe by Mac Aitman, and then finishing off with a remix from Secret of Mana entitled Dry Towns by DJ Orange. All right, time to face our own little microcosm of RNG specialness here, I suppose. We've come
All
up
right.
to the ad hoc design portion where we use this fancy dancy game idea generator thing that we found a long time ago. Generate up a thing that gives us a certain set of parameters that we have to meet, and then we, just by virtue of talking on the stream about it here, make a game around it. Yeah. So here we go. Let's see what we got
All right.
tonight.
All right. You ready for me to roll?
Yep. Roll away.
All right. Number 1 for the evening. Ooh. 2 genres, 1 rule, 1 setting, and 1 theme. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our genres are building sim and hack and slash.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right.
This is like making a sandwich.
Very good.
That's actually a decent idea. Okay. The rule is leave something behind. Oh no. The setting is World War.
Oh no.
And the theme is reality is a dream. You want to know what game this is? You want to know the game?
Does sound very
It's
familiar,
fucking
doesn't it?
Burger Time.
It kind of is. Yeah. Well, I don't know if Burger Time had hack and slash to it.
I mean, you're smacking shit around with a spatula and stuff, but okay.
Oh, were you? I thought you only had a pepper shaker to get by the...
Oh, I don't remember that shit now.
Whatever.
I thought it was a spatula. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. Maybe that's Burger
Whatever.
Time too. The burgering.
It was, yeah, the burger being
Right.
burger.
Right. Well, that's kind of a solid mix of things already.
Yeah.
Building sim, hack and slash, leave something behind, World War, reality is a dream.
Certainly some kind of dream.
Yeah. Probably the standout there is that last one, reality is a dream. I don't know how the hell we would build that into the rest of it.
I don't know. Make Burger Time the Avatar movie? I don't know. No.
Oh,
No.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know about that one.
I propose the reroll.
Yeah, I could take or leave this one, honestly. So why don't we give it another shot?
All right. Number 2. Okay, this is easy mode.
Huh,
Our
okay.
genre is life sim.
Okay.
Our rule is limited capacity, cough, cough, money. Our setting is fairy tale. And our theme is immortality.
Interesting.
You'll never die, but you'll never be able to buy the things you want.
Oh, if that ain't
you
life.
get your fairy godmother.
This has like twisted ass Sims written all over it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Finding all of the cruel ways that they can die, but not die.
Not die, yeah. It's immortality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that would be a special kind of hell, wouldn't it?
A little bit.
Huh.
So if you wanted to make like I don't know, rich person hell, there you go.
That would be well deserved.
Uh-huh. The money fairy would bring you just enough so that you can't actually get the things you need or care for.
Yeah. Oh
so
no,
you'll never have enough.
My avocado toast.
Yeah, right.
It's like
your avocados will be all pit.
Yeah. And your toast will just not be toasty enough. Or too toasted, depending on your preferences, I suppose.
Yep. Or there won't be toast and it'll just be melted butter.
Oh, gross.
Yum.
Oh, just melted butter in a little tiny shred of avocado. Oh no. Oh.
Hey, Wobbly, you around?
Oh, gross.
I know. I don't.
Yeah, I don't really feel this one either.
No. Okay.
So we'd really be
so much like most of the other rounds. We're gonna go ahead and go for option 3.
Casting our lot into whatever is the last one to come up is, I guess. Okay.
you knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen.
Oh, of course.
So
Like,
let's
this
just do
is
this.
natural.
Okay. This is more creative. So our genre is roguelike. I already like it.
All right. I can get behind that.
Our rule is no enemies.
Huh. All right.
The setting is steampunk. And the theme is myth.
Myth.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Roguelike, no enemies, steampunk, myth.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we can work
This is
with
kind
that.
of interesting. So if you don't have enemies, you have to have a way to die, otherwise it's not a roguelike.
Correct.
So it can't be the trope where other characters that you thought were good are out to kill you, because then they would be your enemies.
Right.
So it'd have to all be environmental stuff. Probably?
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Okay.
So if you want to lean into maybe a literal steampunk type thing, like it would be really easy to get the environment to kill you.
Right. Yeah.
Huh. All right. Myth, though. Like, what could we do about the
So
myth part?
I kind of have an idea.
Okay.
So let's go with the concept of dwarves. Like, I'm thinking high fantasy dwarves, but of course we're gonna make this steampunk.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm thinking that, these dwarves discovered a mountain and they established their civilization, and that's all well and good. But some calamity is happening and they need to go deeper. And there's the myth of bleh, well below into the crust of the earth, and they need to find their way down. There's already ancient passages and whatnot that leads them into the depths. But of course, it's been, I don't know, time has not been kind to it. So you have to use your resources and newfound technologies and crystals and whatever else to clear the way down there and make it for safe passage for the rest of your kind. Or some such. I don't know. I'm totally pulling this out of my ass.
I mean, well, that's what this is all about, is ad hoc design.
Yeah, more or less. But yeah, like you're dealing with like potential magma and lava flows, and it wouldn't be dwarves if you didn't have a forge, and like you're dealing with all sorts of like spinny and doohickeys and
Right.
steampunky
And
stuff.
literal steam pipes that can burst and melt your face off, and
Uh-huh.
oops, you're dead. Start over again. Okay.
Womp womp.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Okay. All right. Let's roll with that.
Okay, cool.
So I wrote that more or less verbatim as our story and hook, whilst you were talking about it.
Cool. As my stream of consciousness vomited.
Yeah, well, hey, you work with what you get. Okay, so the objective is to pretty much get as deep as you can into this mountain, huh?
Essentially, yeah. And ooh, you know what? You could actually kind of treat it like NetHack, where eventually you'll get so far down, like you get to the altar and you get the thing that saves the world, and you got to make your way back up again.
Find the MacGuffin and get back to the surface. Very good.
Tropes.
All right. Very good. So mechanics. We're dwarves. We're in a mountain. We're digging. Like that's what dwarves do in B, right?
All right, diggy diggy hole. All right, cool. Yep.
Yes.
I had to, yep. Immediately when you said digging in dwarves, I was like, oh wait, there's the thing. Oh, what a fantastic song. Was it Game Grumps that did that? I think it was.
It sounds like something they would do. So yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. That is 100% it.
Go listen to that song after this. That's a great one. Great music video they did to it. Anyway, Diggy Diggy Hole. That's the game. Diggy Diggy Hole.
Well, there's
Done.
the hardest thing to figure out is the title.
The dwarfening.
Okay.
The Great Dwarven Calamity. There you are.
Subtitle.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. We've got half of it already done, essentially. All right,
Excellent.
players pretty much won. I would propose.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah. I mean,
I yeah, I could
I
see it
could
being a
totally see
shared
like a
world.
co-op thing going on.
One
Like
plus
being
with
able to
shared.
pick up
Oh, we can make it a mud, like in true rogue fashion, multi-user dungeon.
yeah. No, I had to think of it. It would be interesting if you could pick up certain supplies and tools, like if you went a certain route and then went down a level, and then you could like kind of meet up by using both of your things and pew pew, and eventually you kiss,
Mm,
etc. Like
okay, you had me until that part.
crystal bombs and drills and all this other stuff. Like eventually you could like form these passages and eventually kind of come together. Um, that would be an interesting co-op mode. Like introduce more branching paths, the more characters that you have to play, and then it would present more interesting opportunities to use the things you find and have to come up with more ingenuity and ideas on how to progress.
Yeah, and almost
Yeah.
like a semi-permanent world type of thing. Like I'm thinking Bones Files, like in NetHack, right?
Oh, big same, big same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. Like you come across a cache of interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, actually, if you want to do a single player mode, you could actually, as a campaign, introduce the concept of Bones Files being required to move along.
That's
Like you're
true.
actually learning and growing as these generations continue. Ooh, I like that.
So certain almost hard stops to when you get to a certain amount of progression or something.
And you meet your untimely demise
Yeah,
or
rocks fall,
such.
everyone dies through probably some fault of your own, almost entirely a fault of your own.
Oh, as you do.
As it happens, like that's just how it be. Semi-permanent worlds, Bones Files. Yeah, go to back up to the players here for a second.
Uh-huh.
All right. So at single player campaign,
Single player iterative campaign. Bleh.
there you go. That's a
Oh.
good way to put it.
It could be like an
Player,
endless mode almost then.
player, iterative campaign slash endless mode. I would that would be almost a permanent world. Like it generate a world and then go through it as long as
Yeah,
you want
kind of.
that campaign to exist, right?
Yep. You could have some sort of like win conditions or whatnot that you come across, but I wouldn't do it in the multiplayer fashion where you eventually find the altar with the MacGuffin. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Mechanics. Semi-permanent worlds, maybe, depending on how you want to play Bones Files. Um,
You learn how to do more things as you progress because of the necessity of using those skills.
obtain better skills and equipment
Ooh, you can have a skill tree.
to
Yes,
get
skill tree.
further into the mountain, right?
Yep. You have to choose your specialty. There you go.
Specialize. Ooh, if I can spell. Specialize
Uh,
skill trees. Um, I was thinking about some sort of puzzle element to this too, but that might be making it more complicated than it needs to be at this point.
ooh, but I mean, like, if we're gonna kind of like harken back to NetHack, what about something like Sokoban?
Oh yeah, special puzzle areas, huh?
Yeah,
Certain
not required,
puzzle,
but you get some real
right?
cool shit out of it.
Certain puzzle areas with special loot.
Yep.
Made easier
Ooh,
by
and
certain skills, right?
so so what if you ended up getting some neat bonuses, or you can only get certain treasure by clearing certain areas in a special way? Like, so they had those. I don't because I never played NetHack myself, drawing on memories of watching Saxon play it, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you had some areas where like it was pitch black on the inside, and you opened a door, and there were shitloads of enemies that were asleep,
Yeah, monster zoos.
and like Yes, yes. Okay, so you would like find a way to wake one up and then confuse it and watch it kill everything or some such like that. Like finding the least invasive but most effective ways to take care of something so that it guarantees the safety of whatever's in there,
Mm-hmm.
like the
Mm-hmm.
good treasure or whatever. So stuff like that. I really want to watch NetHack again. You should stream that.
Oh God. That would be like 3 months worth of streams to probably not even get a win.
I mean, something, play a
Easily.
samurai.
I did play a samurai. That's the only clear I've ever done was a samurai.
Okay, fair.
Even though that's technically not the easiest one. I think there is one character class that's easier to do than a samurai, but I don't know. It's like
Just keep dipping swords. It's fine.
that's what I did a lot.
Okay,
You
well.
get the samurai wielding Excalibur. Hell yeah. That's funny.
Shit. Um, what was the thing that you can inscribe?
Elbereth.
Thank you. I like how they definitely nerfed Elbereth in one of the latest releases,
Yeah,
which is real sad.
that makes me hesitant to play it actually. I'm like, no, I need this. Although I always forgot to do it anyways, so I would just get my ass handed to me constantly, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, well, that's how NetHack be.
For a game that I've never played and have so much interest in, like at some point I just need to like actually learn what all the symbols are and start actually like constantly failing until I finally get it. It seems like such a fun thing.
Yeah, I couldn't do like the straight up ASCII character sets for that stuff. I needed an actual graphical front end to it to actually play.
Okay, so I don't have to feel bad about that because like
No.
Saxon was like a
No.
tried and true telnet into something
Oh yeah,
and
no,
run
heck
it.
no.
Yeah.
Like I'm all for nostalgia and being true to the roots of things, but we have some modern sensibilities nowadays. You don't need to do that.
So what's your favorite?
Vulture's Eye. Sorry, Falcon's Eye was the
Vulture's Eye? Okay.
precursor to Vulture's Eye.
So that's the one that makes it isometric, right?
Yes,
Pretty
yep.
sure.
It gives you a
Okay,
graphical
cool.
tile set and all that. I think it's even on Steam. Like if you want the real simple way to do it.
Okay. Well, yeah. If I ever get a vote into, hey, community input for game to play, like that'd probably be mine. Anyway, this is tangentially related to game design
It's
that we're
still
doing,
related.
but
We're talking about doing a
roguelike.
roguelike with the mud and semi-permanent worlds and whatever. All right.
Ooh, that actually brings up a point. We
Mm-hmm.
could make an ASCII mode.
Oh Lord. All right. ASCII mode is going under graphic style.
There you go. And then you can make your fun little isometric business. Like I wouldn't want to do anything full 3D or anything like
Right.
that. That just
Yeah.
doesn't fit this style of game. But oh dang, now I really want to play this.
GUI tile sets available. Yeah. Okay.
Ooh. That's actually interesting because we could make like a couple different tile sets available, and then we could introduce a mountain builder and have people make their own custom pre-generated adventures
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. That would be
Mm-hmm.
neat. That would be real neat.
Uh, like a Plando mountain.
Yeah,
uh,
why not?
yeah, mountain builder, right? Builder to
Yeah, I'm down for all
generate
that.
to pre-generate a world. Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Input method seems like keyboard mouse really at this point. I suppose you could use gamepad, but there'd be a lot of actions to do, like in your
Yeah,
typical rogue style type thing, right?
yeah, I'm with that.
Audio style is kind of hard because it's not really audio important at this point. If we're thinking about like the true rogue NetHack experience, it's turn based, so I mean it's mostly
Ambient
text,
music.
ambient stuff, text informing you of things that have happened. Like you hear a distant
Right. You
whoosh
might get
or
some sound
something.
effects or something like that.
Yeah. So
Um, I just
ambient
like how
sound
okay.
effects.
My limited experience with graphical front ends for NetHack are like you get the MIDIs that a lot of them share, and then the very nostalgic early mid '90s sound font that they're played through, and it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I want that kind of experience again. That'll bring back the good nostalgia feels.
Yeah, there was definitely as far as Falcon's Eye and Vulture's Eye is concerned, I think they used the same level up tune through like a dozen iterations of it, which was hilarious.
Nice.
But okay, so ambient minimal sound effects. There's not really much else to say about that one, really. It's just you're there. You are present in this world. You can think about what you're doing.
Hmm.
Be careful. Be patient, etc., etc.
Hmm. Don't be a dumb
Inventory,
dwarf.
digging implements, other tools to traverse a dangerous environment.
Yep. It wouldn't be dwarves if they didn't have explosives.
Explosives is a good
Or,
point. Yeah.
yep, different types of explosives, picks, shovels.
Your standard armors to protect yourself. Uh, like utility implements to like extend your vision range and stuff like that, right? So stat boosting, stat boosting items, I guess, or equipment rather. Okay, well, that's pretty much the entire thing filled out whilst we were just bantering about it, so that's good.
Yeah, I was just trying to like scrape through the rest of my head. It's like, okay, what other nerdy shit do I want in here? But I mean, like, that pretty much covers it. Like, you could discover fun things like potions and wands and things like that, but that's not really the main focus.
Right.
The focus is to like just beat the shit out of the environment and go down the mountain or go through the earth, whatever words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get to the planet's core or something. I don't know. That would be
Yeah.
something, but
Shrug.
find the MacGuffin and get back to the surface. Every game ever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything more we need to add to this, honestly. We already got diggy diggy holes, so
Yeah, buddy.
we're good there. Roguelike, no enemies, steampunk, myth.
Yep.
Works for me. I'm gonna sign off
I'm
on
good
this
with
one.
that. Hey, Game Grumps, please don't sue us. That song's great.
Lol.
Love you.
It is a funny song. I will
It
have to
is.
go
It's pretty great.
listen to it again, actually.
Oh yes.
All right, cool.
I'm
Well,
satisfied.
we've come to the end of round 95 here with our finishing touches on our ad hoc design. Anything more we need to say before we hang it up for the evening? This has been a relatively straightforward show this time, which I appreciate.
Yep, me too. I am very tired. This is going to be my last show from the Nashville area. As you can tell, my belongings behind me are mysteriously missing and in boxes that you can't see. Next time we will be in, well, I will be in Austin and Keeping It Weird, which is the name of the episode.
Hey, title drop.
Yep. So goodbye Central Time and welcome Central Time.
Very good.
Of all of the moves that I've made, I've never left this time zone, and it's weird because I've gone pretty far east and west now. So still going to be in Central Time.
About to say,
I don't
you
have to learn a new one yet.
must have been nearing the borders of the time zones at some point, right?
Yeah. Nashville is about as far east as you can get. You get another maybe 60 miles off to the east, and you're in
Wow.
Eastern Time.
Wow.
So, yep. But yeah, we're keeping it weird. Haha.
Hey, ho, ho. Very good.
You're
Well,
going to take me away.
that's a very old song.
Oh yes.
Extremely old, in fact.
All right, I'm rambling.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us, watching, listening, etc. I'm Mr. Bond.
And I'm Tormod.
And we'll leave you with our typical closing track, a remix from Mario Kart Wii entitled Wind in Your Hair by Overclocked University. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.